guys, welcome to the first video in my Classic Hollywood movie / Classic Hollywood era review storytime video series that I've wanted to do for a really long time. So you may not know this about me, but I'm a huge fan of classic movies. I'm very passionate about that time period. I love the fashion, the way they talked, everything about it. And I've wanted to do a series where I share some of my favorite films and just talk about some stories I've found out, like Lupe Velez, for example. Did she really die face down in her toilet? Things like that I want to talk about and share, and I think this is a good medium to do so because there's so many fans out there of the same thing, and hopefully I can maybe introduce someone to a movie that they haven't seen, that they are going to love, that they might have not otherwise came across had they not heard about it. So this is the goal of my series, and I want to do one of these videos a week. To safeguard that, I have filmed them in advance so I can release them and not have to worry about not meeting my weekly deadline. So without further introduction, I want to start with one of my favorite movies, and this movie is so good. I really hope someone out there has seen it, and if you haven't, I really hope that you go watch it after this. That movie is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. This is a 1962 suspense thriller film directed by Robert Aldrich, starring Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. This movie is about two sisters who are sort of waning in their former glory. Baby Jane Hudson and Blanche Hudson were once stars in their time. Baby Jane Hudson was a vaudevillian star when she was a kid, very popular child star. Blanche Hudson in her 20s was this glamorous Hollywood actress icon that everyone loved. And now in their older age, they're kind of falling into obscurity, locked away in this home. The world kind of forgot about them. But Baby Jane hasn't forgot about her history. Baby Jane Hudson is played by Bette Davis, and she is this resentful, remorseful, bitter, demented woman who is just so crazy and creepy. And when you see her performing, it is just incredible watching her because she completely becomes this character. Joan Crawford plays Blanche Hudson, who is Baby Jane's older sister, and she is paralyzed from a car accident, so she's kind of at the mercy of her crazy sister Jane, who has become her caretaker and also her tormentor throughout the film. Now, without spoiling anything, I'm just going to say this movie is very dark. It actually gets really dark, and you're not expecting it to do that. I was introduced to this movie on Turner Classic Movies one night, and going into it blind, I had no idea what I was in store for, and I loved it because it just kept getting crazier and crazier. I've watched this movie several times, and every time I watch it, depending on who I watch it with, they have a different reaction. I actually just watched it recently with a group of girlfriends, and we were all in tears laughing because of just how crazy it gets. And I thought that was so fun that you can make this suspense thriller this really fun girls' night movie. And I actually do think this movie is the perfect girl power movie because apart from the actor Victor Buono, who is excellent in the movie, by the way, most all the main actresses are female. That would make sense. But yeah, they're all female, and Maddie Norman plays Joan Crawford, Blanche Hudson's caretaker, and she's so good. You're just like, yes, Elvira, yes, go help Blanche. It's such a good movie, really suspenseful, and I can't recommend it enough. Now, the background of the movie is just as interesting as the plot itself. In fact, there was recently a show released in 2017 called Feud, and it is the first season is about Bette Davis and Joan Crawford and their famous rivalry during the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. So in the show, you're going to see a complete recreation of the house, the costumes, the makeup, the scenes in the movie. They'll go into explanation about why they did things a certain way. It is so good. I cannot recommend that show enough. If you have seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, well, first go watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and then watch Feud. You are going to love it. It's I wish they would do things like this more. They have this, well, not entirely fictionalized, but dramatic recreation of something that happened in history. I think this is such a really fun, cool way to make something relevant again. And Jessica Lange and, oh my gosh, what's her name? Susan Sarandon. Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon play Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, and they are incredible. I mean, they are just They are so good. I have to, this is as much as a review for Feud as is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, I guess, because I feel like it was so well done. It does the movie so much justice. It does the actors justice, the director, everyone, all the little bit parts who were involved, so I can't recommend that enough. Another fun fact about this movie is that Bette Davis did her makeup for Baby Jane. That was her idea, and she wasn't afraid of looking ugly and scary and harsh. And it actually paid off because she was nominated for an Oscar for her role in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Sadly, she lost, and she blames that loss on Joan Crawford. She thinks Joan Crawford specifically went and campaigned for the other actress nominees for Best Actress to win against her. Like I said, there's a lot of drama that went into this film, but the movie, regardless, it was so successful. It had a budget of about $1 million. It surpassed $9 million. It was so popular. In fact, this movie was so popular, it actually inspired an entire subgenre, the psycho-bitty subgenre, which is crazy old woman. And there's multiple films that followed after this, and if you actually like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, you can go watch Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte, which was released 2 years later, starring Bette Davis in the same sort of role. And then Joan Crawford actually starred in another film after this one too, called Straight Jacket. I've seen both of them. I'm going to be talking about both of them in the future. Both of them are good. So if you like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, you're probably going to like these ones as well. Which is cool because I have further things to recommend based on this recommendation. I know I'm talking a lot. I know this is kind of all over the place and unformatted. As you can tell, I have a lot to say about it, and I hope to perfect these reviews and discussions in the future, but for now I just wanted to start with that one, and I look forward to doing this more. So that is our first video, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you want to see it, I'm sure you can find it streaming somewhere. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.